Welcome back to Financially Fit with B. And yes, I know it has been a while, but I'm back. And it may be a little different from before. As you can see, I'm more casual, but that doesn't mean that the content is going to change all that much. If anything, it's actually going to expand. I think this version feels a lot more like me on a day-to-day basis, because one thing about it, I'm always going to love personal finance and trying to educate people on how to build wealth for themselves and their families. But I know people don't always want the polished finance tips, which is why I am planning to dive a little bit more into my personal life and how I actually achieve my money goals and use the personal finance tips that I have learned along the way in real life. I want to share that journey with you guys a bit more than I did in the past. This includes budgeting, when my priorities shift, attacking my debt, whatever my goals are at the moment. I want to be more transparent in real time about those things to help you along your own personal journeys. That's the energy that I'm bringing to the channel. And you know, it's always about progress over perfection over here. As a recovered perfectionist, we don't do those things anymore. It's definitely about building financial freedom. So if that sounds like where you are right now in life, stick around. We're still going to keep it educational because this is still Financially Fit with B, and you do need to know the basics in order to build wealth for yourself. But I'm just going to add some more transparency and real life into the mix. Today, I'm actually going to walk you guys through my June budget monthly setup as I give you guys some life updates, some money updates, and just show you guys how I plan for the month ahead. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Wow. This is a template that I've been using for the last couple of months. So if it's something that you might be interested in using for yourself, let me know and I could do another video on how to properly use the templates and all the features that it offers. First, I want to give you guys a life update and just a financial goal update from the last few months and coming into 2026. My clarity has grown so much. I know originally I didn't really share too much of personal experience, but in the last few months, I have really been called by God to do that this year, which has been uncomfortable. It's been stretching me, but I'm obeying God. And I know that it is the path that He is calling for me. Be nice. We don't bully over here. Sometimes I am an oversharer. The internet has just become a weird place for people to be transparent. You have to find ways to protect yourself. So I will be doing that, but still giving you guys some details on where my head is at and what I'm working towards. We could start with my 2026 money goals. This took me a few weeks to really nail down what my focus was for this year. I was off to a bit of a slow start for the year. The first goal is to recover from overconsumption. I'm not typically a person that has multiples of the same product, but I could do a better job at using the things that I have all the way till it's just not usable anymore. Just consuming less, because you would be surprised how much stuff you can accumulate over the course of the years. As I get older, I despise clutter. Less consumption is definitely a focus of mine, which does have a financial impact because it can save you money. It's more so a mindset shift. So far, that's been going really well for me. My second goal is attacking my debt with everything that I have. I have tried to become debt-free in the years prior to no avail. But I have a really good feeling about this year, and I've seen probably the most momentum than I can remember. That has felt so great, and it's so motivating. In my mind and in my heart, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is going to be it. My third goal, kind of a spin-off from paying off my debt, but it's just preparing my life to operate from a place of me firstly maxing out my 401k contributions, then maxing out my HSA, and then maxing out my Roth IRA, building my life around what that new budget looks like, because it is a new budget. I know you've probably heard that people try to pay their bills and take care of their expenses and then they save the rest. As I've discussed before, you have to pay yourself first. I think we short ourselves on our potential when we save and invest last instead of first. I've gotten great at paying myself first and allocating money to some of my financial goals first, but it's never been to the extent where I'm fully maxing out my 401k contributions, which then can lower your taxable income. Same thing with maxing out your HSA and maxing out my Roth IRA. I don't really know why I have neglected my Roth IRA the way that I have. It's a goal of mine to give it the love and attention that it deserves moving forward. I will tell you, when you are trying to max out your 401k, it changes your budget allowance greatly. It's a lot more money that is coming out of your paycheck. Then you start to realize what you can and cannot afford, but that's my goal. Then it's going to flow into my fourth goal, which is kickstarting my FIRE journey. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not trying to work until the retirement age. And if you are not familiar with FIRE, it is Financial Independence Retire Early. It's a movement where people set a goal for themselves of what they feel comfortable living off of in their retirement years. They back into that years before where they save and invest to hit that goal. In my circumstance, I want to kickstart my FIRE journey ASAP. Part of that is paying off my debt first. I'm just getting those things set up and building those foundations and systems so that I can just put things on autopilot and watch my money grow and still live life in the present day. Making good money does not automatically make your finances easier. And I think more people need to hear that conversation. I'm also working on simplifying my money systems. You know, I'm a fan of having multiple accounts. That won't change. And that actually inspired the budget template. Like, I've always been wanting to have something consistent that I could use at any time of the year that will reflect where I am in my financial journey. Budget template has definitely been serving that purpose. It's clear, it's functional. You don't need an accounting degree to understand it. Like, it's straightforward. It gives really nice visuals and graphs, which I love and appreciate, so I can actually see where my money is going and how it's working for me. Let's get into it. Welcome to my budget template. Like I said, we're going to populate June together. So this has a couple of different sections in it, but of course, we're going to start off with the income section. I get paid bi-weekly, so I am going to put in my paycheck dates and the expected amount that I intend to receive. My paychecks do not fluctuate unless I change my deductions or allowances for some reason, but I expect the same amount for the month of June. So I'm actually going to populate how I have my funds being allocated to the different accounts. I set this up directly in my HR portal so that the money goes exactly where I want it to go, and I do not have to do a manual transfer later on. Then I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same step for the second paycheck that I plan to receive this month. And since I don't intend for my allocations to change, I'm just going to go ahead and copy the first section right down into the second one. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and tag which accounts are related to that dollar amount that I allocated here. And this is where I have all of my accounts listed, whether it's going to be my checking account, my many high yield savings accounts, or any of my investments accounts. Right now, I have my paycheck to allocate mainly to my high yield savings accounts and my investment accounts, and I put the balance to my checking accounts because I really do spend the least in my checking account. This system works for me. It keeps everything simple and accounted for. And I also know where my fund money lives. So I'm just going to copy that same allocation down, and now we can move on to bills. This is going to focus on those fixed expenses that do not change month to month. So that'll be things like my rent, my parking, my car payment, insurance, my utilities bill, Wi-Fi. There's also a section in here for you to put in due dates. I do use this section just to help me stay on track and make sure nothing is late. And this does flow into another tab where you can see a calendar of when everything is due. I do also duplicate the same method in my phone just to make sure I am on time because I love having perfect payment history. Then we get into the expenses. This section is more of the variable expenses that are going to fluctuate month to month, just depending on what your needs are for that month. I'm really focused on staying in between my groceries and dining out budget this month. That has been a challenge, but everything else here is pretty flexible for me, aside from maybe the gym expense. But it is summertime shy, and I do have plans for Juneteenth weekend, so I did put some extra money in the fun money category here for that. Into savings. This is a section where if you want to explicitly budget or transfer money into your sinking funds, you can do that here. I'm populating it here for purposes of the video, but I will end up taking it out later because I already have a lot of these allocated from my payroll directly, so I don't need to double count it. And we have a section for subscriptions. That's pretty self-explanatory. I have whatever monthly subscriptions that I'm paying for currently in this section. Nothing too crazy here. It's probably a good way for you to see how much money you are spending in a month related to subscriptions. And here we have where I've been spending so much of my time the last few months because I'm on an active debt payoff journey. And yes, I have a lot that's being allocated here because I mean serious business with this debt. For the way that my brain works, I wanted to break it out between my minimum payments and my extra payments for my credit cards. Not too much on this section, okay? We're doing a lot of great work here, but not too much on this section because this time next year, this will not exist. I'm claiming it. Then we have a section for the transactions to be inputted into as you go through the month, and this will break out exactly where all of your money has been spent. And like I mentioned before, this is the section where I'm taking out the dollars that I put in here because they're already allocated through my paycheck, so I don't need to double count it. Once I start moving through the month with real expenses, I'll go ahead and do a follow-up video so you guys can see how the graphs look. For now, this is how we're looking for June. That's my June setup. Honestly, I'm really excited for this next season of Financially Fit with B. I am normally the vibe, but the vibe is inside this year. One big takeaway I think has shifted my mindset is just me being a better steward of money. I've been really blessed to multiply my income from when I first started working in corporate 5 times to now. I can admit when I haven't been the best steward of my money, I've paid for it. Like I always say, when you know better, you do better. And I do know better. You know when you're not doing your best. Tell me in the comments, what's one of your financial goals that you have for this summer? What's a win that you've had for the year already? Thank you guys. God bless and stay financially fit. Mwah.